Well, hello there. It's good to see you. Granny's here, ready to read you a story. Okay? So today's story is one of my all-time favorites. It's called The Very Noisy Night. So I hope you like it as much as I do. Are you ready? Get all comfortable and cozy. Okay? All right. The Very Noisy Night by Diana Hendry. It was the middle of the night, and Big Mouse was fast asleep in his big bed. Little Mouse was wide awake in his little bed. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something rushing around the house, huffing and puffing. There's Little Mouse, wide awake. And there's Big Mouse, trying to sleep. Big Mouse opened one eye and lifted one ear. It's only the wind, he said. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse, there isn't room. And he turned over and went back to sleep. Little Mouse lay listening to the wind. Then suddenly, between a huff and a puff, came a tap, 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 tap. Little Mouse climbed out of bed, opened the front door just a crack, and peeked out. Whoosh went the wind, but there was no one outside. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear someone tapping. I think there's a burglar on the roof. Big Mouse got out of bed and opened the bedroom curtains. Look, he said, it's only a branch tapping on the window. Go back to sleep. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. You wiggle. Little Mouse lay in his own bed and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and someone calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Little Mouse climbed out of bed again. This time he looked under it. Then he looked in the wardrobe, and feeling very frightened, he yelled, Big Mouse, I think there's a ghost in the room, and it's looking for someone. It keeps calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Big Mouse sighed, sat up, and listened. It's only an owl, he said. It stays up all night, like you. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. Your paws are always cold. Big Mouse pulled the cover over his head and went back to sleep. And Little Mouse got back into his own bed. Little Mouse sat up and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting. But, shh, what was that? Big Mouse, he called. I think it's raining inside. And Little Mouse jumped out of bed and fetched his little umbrella. Big Mouse got out of bed too. He opened the front door to see if it was raining at all. Then Big Mouse went into the kitchen and turned off the dripping faucet. He gently pried the umbrella out of Little Mouse's paws and put it away. "Can I come into your bed?" asked Little Mouse. "No, you're nice and snug in your own bed," said Big Mouse, taking him back to the bedroom. Okay. Little Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting, and just as he was beginning to feel very sleepy indeed, he heard, "Wee, wee, wee." Big Mouse," he called, "you're snoring." Wearily, Big Mouse got up. He put his earmuffs on Little Mouse's ears. He put a paper clip on his own nose, and he went back to bed. Little Mouse lay and listened to nothing. It was very, very, very quiet. He couldn't hear the wind huffing or the branches tapping or the little owl hooting or Big Mouse snoring. It was so quiet that Little Mouse felt he was all alone in the world. He took off the earmuffs. He got out of bed and pulled the paper clip off Big Mouse's nose. Big Mouse," he cried, "I'm lonely." Big Mouse flung back his blanket. "Better come into bed," he said. So Little Mouse hopped in, and his paws were cold, and he needed just a little wiggle before he fell fast asleep. Big Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting, and Little Mouse sniffling, and very soon he heard the birds waking up, but neither of them heard the alarm clock. Because they were both fast asleep. The end. Wasn't that a good one? I really like that one. So come back and listen to me read it over and over as many times as you like, okay? So you have a good rest of your day, a good night, a good day tomorrow. And remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.